Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In this video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reacting to the Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans game, where this was just an absolute ass-kicking by the Browns in the first half of the game, even the third quarter, but then by the fourth quarter, we took the starters out and things got a little bit shaky. The final score was Cleveland 36, Houston 22. Like I said in this game, the first half, it was amazing. Joe Flacco dicing up the defense. Amari Cooper set a historic day for Cleveland Browns receivers. The defense looks like it was unstoppable. Special teams, a little bit of a hiccup, but everything was going right. The problem was we didn't finish strong. But what I'm going to do in this video is, as a Browns fan, I'm going to kind of go through, break down this game, dissect the offense, the defense, special teams, and kind of give my opinion on the outlook of the Browns season going forward, because we have a chance, a slight chance of winning the 1 seed in the division. Like I said, it's a slight chance, but we're going to also talk about that as well. So without further ado, as always, if you're going to enjoy today's video, make sure you go and drop a like. It's very much appreciated if you do so. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so like we said, 36-22. I'm going to kind of go through, break down some of the important parts of this game real quick, just to start it off. First off, like I said, Joe Flacco, he fucking went nuts. The dude just feels like he just goes out there and throws the ball wherever the hell he wants. He does whatever he wants on the field. He's going to throw it deep whenever he feels like it. He's not going to do one of these little dink and dunk passes. Oh, I got to save my job. We're going to run the ball. No, he says, fuck that. I could lose my job at any moment. I'm going to just play like it's my last down ever and just chuck it deep. And what does the Browns say? Well, if you're going to chuck it deep, you're going to need a receiver to chuck it deep too. How about Amari Cooper? Motherfucker had 11 catches, 265 yards for 2 tutties. He set the Browns all-time record, and he almost didn't do it. We'll get into that in a minute. He almost didn't get it, but with the defense kind of playing bad in the last half of the fourth quarter, because we took our starters out, it kind of gave the Browns offense a reason to say, okay, let's put you guys back out there because we need to make sure we seal this game up. Let's talk about a couple of big things in this game that kind of helped out the Browns. Big thing number one, like I said, Amari Cooper. He played great. He had a lot of big catches, and you would even look at that and say 11 catches for 265 yards. The thing is, a lot of those catches, the one of the ones with the play action where we were up 7-0, coming off the bootleg, chuck it deep, Amari Cooper had defensive pass interference, still caught it, went for the touchdown. That play was fucking huge. And then let's talk about the very first play of the game. Apparently, according to Kevin Stefanski, there were 3 reads. I think it was one of those like deep posts for Amari Cooper. He had a receiver off to the right side that could have been another post or fade, and then he had a tight end leaking down underneath. Joe Flacco took the little fake handoff and just said, Amari beat his man. He split the safeties. I'm going for it. And then you got to talk about a lot of the side routes down in the fourth quarter. We'll get into this kind of point in a minute. We couldn't go for field goals or extra points because our kicker went out. So Amari Cooper, we had to go for it on fourth down a lot. What do we do on fourth down? Who are we going to go to the ball to? Oh, that's right. We have Amari Cooper. He had those sideline toe touch, tippy toe on the sideline catches, especially in the fourth quarter whenever we were starting to feel the pressure, things were getting interesting. Amari Cooper stepped up in big ways and made big time catches. Now, obviously, Amari Cooper's not going to have this sort of game every single week, but if he can still give us like a 6-7 catches, 70 to 100 yards somewhere in there, and maybe a touchdown a game, the dude is going to be the best Brown receivers we've ever had. So with that being said, Amari Cooper, legend in the Browns uniform from what we saw on the field on Sunday. Talking about Joe Flacco, 27 of 42, 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The one interception, I don't really call it interception. It was the end of the half. We couldn't go for a field goal. Like I said, we'll get into that in a minute. We couldn't go for a field goal, so we had to just start chucking it at the end zone. He was just kind of giving his guy a chance. It ended up being an underthrown ball. Got picked off. I don't really consider that to be on him because he's just, like, at that point, we would have better off just taking the field goal, but in that moment, we couldn't. When it comes to Joe Flacco, he was just dicing up the defense. He was doing whatever he wanted to. He was double cheek spread, fisting the shit out of that defense. The throw to David Njoku up the seams between the 2 safeties. Oh my God, that was awesome. He just put that ball right in the middle, caught the ball, went for the touchdown. He had almost like a post slant throw to Amari Cooper where Amari Cooper looked like he almost dropped it. He had to like kind of clinch it up near his cheeks. Great catch by him. And then, like I said earlier, the throw to Amari Cooper that was down the field on the little post bootleg, play action bootleg, and down the field of Amari Cooper that was called defensive pass interference. That throw was amazing by Joe Flacco. And it wasn't even just the throws to Amari Cooper. He was getting some throws to other people that were making plays in the ball game. It just seemed like no matter where Joe Flacco went with the ball, it worked. Next up, let's talk about the run game a little bit. The run game didn't do a lot. 15 carries, 25 yards for Jerome Ford. I mean, all in all, you can see there, 54 yards rushing. Kareem Hunt got 7 carries for 11 yards. He had the 1 touchdown rush. Pierre Strong had a couple of runs, but that was, like I said, in the fourth quarter whenever we weren't really trying to do anything else on offense. We were just trying to put the game away, and that was whenever the lead started coming back, but then Pierre Strong had to go out of the game. It says Joe Flacco had a little bit of rushing. That wasn't really anything to talk about. That was more or less of him being able to escape the pocket and trying to keep plays alive. There was a couple of throws he made. I think one was to Cedric Tillman where he was kind of escaping the sideline off to the right side. I want to say the second quarter, and he was able to get a Cedric Tillman, caught the ball, was able to turn up and try to get a few extra yards. Next thing I want to talk about is the creativity from Kevin Stefanski. We have said all year long how Kevin Stefanski has just not been it. Some people said they want him gone. It was just like a mind puzzle with Kevin Stefanski towards like, how is it that we cannot win with all this talent? And then the injuries started piling up, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing? And then now with like literally no talent around besides some of the guys we had, like Amari Cooper, David Njoku, the offensive line is beat up. We are on a fourth quarterback. The running backs look a little slim. And somehow with that, Kevin Stefanski is putting together one of the best offensive performances we've seen out of a team for the Cleveland Browns in forever. I mean, the little fake handoff from Jerome Ford on third and goal, I believe, or fourth goal, whatever it was, in the first quarter on the first drive where he took and kind of like faked the Joe Flacco and then just kept on running up the sideline, went for the touchdown. That was chef kiss. The way he's able to dial up some of the screen passes and kind of get some jet sweeps and end arounds moving to just don't do it too much, but he knows how to like very sneakily get them to where when he realizes, okay, the defense, they're going to hard bite on this play action bootleg up the sideline. When he knows, okay, it's like 3rd and 4, they're going to want to probably sell out a blitz here, screen to Kareem Hunt or David Njoku, go get 10 yards. And other times where it's like you're 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, and instead of doing something stupid, creative, tricky play where it's like, okay, set hut, pitch it off, pitch back over here, flea flicker, throw it over here. Sometimes you just got to line up and just run it straight in the end zone. I can really see a development from Kevin Stefanski over the past couple of years. This season, most certainly, he's grown up a lot. Next up, let's talk about the kicker. The kicker went down. Dustin Hopkins, our Lord and Savior Dustin Hopkins, went down. What the fuck? He went down on the kickoff return. I don't understand why we don't just tell our kickers to kick it out of the back of the end zone for a touchback every single time. But he didn't. The Texans, they ended up returning a touchdown. At that point, that was the only offensive touchdown or only score that the Texans got on their scoreboard, not going against the Browns defense, because I don't even consider the two touchdowns they got later on in the game to be part of the Browns defense because their backups were in at that point. But like I was saying, that touchdown was bullshit. We should have stopped them. They should not have ran that one back. But Dustin Hopkins, he was the last effort to try to tackle the returner. He tried to leap out and grab him. He ended up getting a hamstring injury, and I don't know if it's the plant leg or the kicking leg. I think they said the plant leg is what it was, so he could not finish the game. We ended up going and trying to practice a couple guys. We tried to see if the punter could kick. We tried seeing if maybe one of our safeties, D'Anthony Bell, he tried to take a practice kick. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he was over on the sideline. We saw him trying to like practice holding the ball to be able to hold it in case somebody is going to kick. I find it hard to believe that we don't have a single fucking guy that kicked anywhere, even if not in college, but even maybe high school, pee-wee football, somebody that has somewhat experience of kicking. And even whenever it came to like, we got down inside like the 15, 10 yard line, you tell me none of our guys can kick like 10, 15 from the 10 or 15 yard lane, maybe like a 25, 20, 30 yard field goal. To NFL kickers, that is fucking nothing. To some of us, it's manageable as long as like, I feel like a team, they should have somebody besides the kicker, at least one or two other people in, like I said, emergency. That's what they're called, emergency place kickers, to go out there and kick the ball. Because Corey Bojorquez, our punter, he was able to step in and do the kickoff responsibility. He's got no problem doing that. It's just when it comes to place kicking, that's a little bit of a different job than kicking off, because kicking off, you're just kicking the shit out of it as far as you can. With place kicking, you got to be precise. You got to get your plant leg down at a certain spot, and you got to make sure you're kicking it precise, like with accuracy, because you're trying to aim between those uprights. And if you kick it too hard, you might swing your leg off to one of the ways. If you don't kick it hard enough, you might end up just like booping it off the front of the end post. There's a lot of technical things that go into kicking football. I have heard news that Aaron Jabari, he's already in the process of trying to find another kicker if Dustin Hopkins is not ready to go for Thursday, so that's remains to be seen. But then the last thing we're going to talk about is our defense. I thought the defense played great. The front four was attacking. We got 3 sacks, 1 from Alex Wright, 2 from Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith went down in the fourth quarter with an injury. I think he's okay. He was in the locker room walking around. I think he's good to go anyways. People were kind of looking at the Myles Garrett thing with like only getting 3 tackles, or 3 total tackles, getting no sacks, but he did get the 2 tackles for loss, which was huge. I think he had, 11 quarterback hurries or quarterback pressures. So he's still impacting the game is what people need to understand. A lot of people, when they look at edge rushers, D tackles, they look at only sacks because you're on the defensive line. You should be going getting sacks. Yes, that's important, but sometimes just getting the pressures or even tackling the running back, tackles for loss whenever it comes to bringing down the running backs in the backfield, that can also impact the game. Martin Emerson, he was getting cooked up like some burnt bacon in the first quarter and even the first half. He was not looking good. He was getting beat by a bunch of receivers were beating him. And it got to the point where Case Keenum, he was literally only throwing the ball to receivers that were covered by Martin Emerson. He was literally lining up. It's like, okay, Martin Emerson, where are you? There you are. Okay, whatever number you are, I'm throwing it to you. Said, huh? And he just looked, and he looked, and he threw it straight there. And it was either the receiver caught it because he cooked Martin Emerson, or there was like a holding call, there was contact, pass interference. Martin Emerson, he was getting handsy. That was his problem. Especially in the first quarter, in the first half, he was holding a lot. Like, we had 7 penalties, and I think like 3 or 4 of them were just from Martin Emerson. Yeah, right here, we had 9 penalties. Texans ended up getting a couple more as the game went on. In the first half, like I said, 7 penalties, I think, in the first half. We limited in the second half. But Martin Emerson, he was just getting cooked. I think in the second half, he kind of slowed down. People were not really attacking him that much, or it seemed like we were kind of switching our corners around and trying to make it to where Martin Emerson wasn't just getting picked apart, and we were kind of helping him, putting a safety over there, maybe a linebacker on his inside or outside to help him out a little more. But like I said, I think the defense, they played great. Got turnovers, the front 4 was eaten, the linebackers were covering great, stopping the run, and the corners in the back end, they were covering amazing. We were missing already, like we said, we already know we're missing Grant Delpit for probably the rest of the season. He'll come back for the playoffs, I hope. And then we're going to be missing Juan Thornhill. Hopefully he comes back this week or next week, but he's been out a couple of games. Hopefully he comes back soon. When the defense went out and all the starters went out and the Texans started coming back, I'm not going to lie, I had a little bit of a heart attack, but we got through it. When we were not doing good and we were allowing the onside kick and the Texans were just scoring and scoring and scoring, I'm not going to lie, I panicked. And it was funny because I had a friend literally text me and was like, when it was like 36-7 and it was like 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, he texted me and was like, looks like y'all gonna win, GG's. And I was like, shut the fuck up. The second that happened, Texans scored 2 touchdowns within a few minutes, and he texted back and he was like, whoops. When it comes to a Browns fan and being a Brown player, y'all need to realize something. The game ain't over until that clock strikes 0.00. And even then, the game might not be over because there could be a penalty. But other than that, kind of looking at the entirety of the game, I thought the Browns played great. This was a much needed game they needed. They needed to go out there and play a game where it felt like everything was just in their control and they could do whatever the hell they wanted. Now, what does this game mean going forward? The big thing that everybody talked about with the Browns defense was, could they travel? They showed that in this game. We talked about Joe Flacco. We said, could he win a big game on the road? He showed that too. Now, going forward for the rest of the season in the playoffs, we play the Jets and the Bengals. The Browns right now going forward, I believe they have a chance to still get the 1 seed. I think they need some teams to lose. They're going to need the Ravens to lose 2 games. And then they would need to win out, obviously, and then they might need the Dolphins to lose a game, I think. But it's still entirely, I would say, plausible. If they wanted to just win the division, like I said, they would need the Ravens to lose to the 49ers, which I believe they have a shot. I think the Ravens are 3-point underdogs, so possible. And then they play the Dolphins and the Steelers going in the next 2 games, so fingers crossed. But moral of the story with the Browns, we are trying to at least just make sure we make the playoffs. And if we beat the Jets on Thursday night, I believe the Cleveland Browns are going to the fucking playoffs. Fingers crossed, but I think we can do it. But like I said, I think the Browns are going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be good to go. Winning the division, that, like I said, fingers crossed. I think they are capable of doing it. I just going to come down to what are the Ravens going to look like. If the Ravens lose a couple of games, Browns going to win the division. If the Browns go as a wild card, I feel like right now the Browns, there have been people talking about on the ESPN, they are one of the most dangerous teams going into the playoffs. Like, when you look at all these teams besides the Ravens, would you, like, look at the teams. Do you want to play the Chiefs? Maybe. Their offense doesn't look that good. Do you want to play a team from the AFC South? Maybe. None of them look super scary. The Dolphins, they don't look entirely scary because sometimes, like, they've been shown that they can have their offense slow down at times. The Browns, they are scary. With the way this defense is playing and the way that Joe Flacco is just flinging that football all over the place without a care in the world, and it's working, I'm not gonna lie, the Browns are a scary team to go win a playoff game, maybe 2, maybe 3. But other than that, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I'm gonna wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy today's video. As always with all these videos that I do post here, if you're going to enjoy, make sure you go and drop a like. Very much appreciate if you do so. If you watched the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And maybe I missed a detail about the Cleveland Browns versus Houston Texans game, and you want to leave your opinion on how the game went down in the comment section down below, feel free to do so. If you're a Browns fan or Texans fan and you want to leave your opinion on kind of how the game went, what you think about Amari Cooper's historic performance of how he did, or Joe Flacco's performance of how he did, and you want to just leave, like I said, leave your opinion on the whole game down in the comment section down below, feel free to do so. If you're a fan of the content that I am posting here and you want to go and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so, and do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.